Hello, lovely viewers. It's another weekend, and we are here with you from 45 TV with some politics updates and conversation as they happen in Ghana. Today, I have with me Derek. Derek, what's up?
Everything fine.
How was your week?
Not bad.
Awesome. You know my name already. My name is Dry, so I don't need to introduce myself. I'm the residence pundit here. I mean, Derek is also a residence pundit who joined us not long ago, so you'll be seeing him more times on the screen. So let's just delve into matters quickly. Charlie, Derek, it'd be like when a country, the leaders, like, I don't know how to put it, like, they just want to incite us. They want to do things that would get us annoyed and infuriate us. Just not long ago, we battled state capture by the Senate trying to sell off state assets through their hotels. And then, I mean, that was put to bed by some gallant fighters and organized labor organizing themselves to demonstrate and protest against it. Just after that, they will not even let like tempest cool small. They've passed or they've proposed a bill in Parliament to give ministers some privileges on the road, bypass traffic, have sirens in their cars to be blowing. Boga, please, what do you have to say about
I think that's an legislation.
Yeah, these instruments, yes.
It's a very ridiculous bill that Parliament wants to institute, that members of Parliament would have to need I listened to one of these NDC MPs, I think he's a lawyer, and he was trying to justify that instrument that Parliament wants to pass, that they want members of Parliament to have a siren in case they are late, and he's saying that sometimes going to Parliament and they are late, they need a sirens. That's ridiculous. It doesn't make sense.
Why does it make sense?
Doesn't make sense.
If you are going to perform a state function and you need to get there on time, I think it is right in principle that certain things or certain privileges be made for you to arrive at this place on time.
First of all, you have to ask yourself, what is the cause of this massive traffic on the road? It has to do with our bad road network, causing these massive traffics on the road.
Okay.
Because you could see some of the road that needs to be dual carriage is a single road. You could see a very bad road with potholes. These are all reasons. Sometimes you see these traffic lights, they are not working. These amounts to the massive traffics in our road. Accra is not that huge of a city to have these huge problems. If this train system is being fixed, Accra, the burden on Accra is going to be reduced. People could work, could stay in Kumasi, could stay in Sunyani, could stay in the other cities.
And commute to Accra for work.
Ghana is not huge of a country. From Accra to Kumasi, the distance, if you have very good roads, it wouldn't take you a long time to come there. So they have to set priorities right. Now they are thinking about themselves. What about doctors? What about nurses?
They should become MPs.
Who would want to attend to?
They should become MPs, yes.
Who would want to attend to their patients on emergency?
They should become MPs.
What about teachers who is running late to educate people?
Yes, they should become MPs. No. There are teachers who are MPs.
Who voted for them to be there?
Yes.
It's a ridiculous bill that they want to come.
Napo is a doctor, it's an MP. And
Napo actually didn't even practice. So he didn't really practice.
But see, what you are saying, I agree with you, that it is because we have a bad transportation system in the country, which is why traffics normally build up in our cities. But this is a fundamental problem, okay? And to address a fundamental problem requires a complete systemic change, which will take time, okay? So while we are planning towards correcting or righting that fundamental error, should we let our ministers and statesmen, should we subject them to traffic and subject them to some discomfort and inconvenience in their attempt to save us and serve our interests?
Because they've not really made steps to fix some of these problems. So they need to...
They're doing them.
They need to face the challenges that we are going through.
To award a contract to a contractor to start a road system or to build a road network goes through a lot of back and forth, goes through a lot of bureaucratic due diligence processes that take a lot of time. Okay? While this is going on, they still have to perform their day-to-day functions as state people. They still need to serve you.
Governance didn't start yesterday. It didn't start 2 years ago. It started years ago, right? And even talking about roads, what about the traffic system? The traffic light, the numerous and what's so ridiculous about this, they are saying that they should increase the speed limit.
Yes.
They should increase the speed limit.
Yeah, so that we'll go faster.
And that is tantamount to a lot of misfortune that can happen on the roads.
It doesn't. That is fair to say that if cars are running beyond their defined speed limits, chances are that there may be an accident. But come on, there are a lot of factors that cause accidents. I don't think we want to single out speed limit and then just to rubbish.
It could fine, not necessarily singling that out, but it could be a factor that can lead to that. Look, this is Ghana we are. This is Ghana we know. So, these guys would eventually end up even abusing this right that they would have. They could be seeing their side chicks. They will be seeing their girlfriend be going to have a pub and they'll put on these sirens.
Yes, of course.
Saying that they are going to
perform
still a duty.
Yes, it's still state duty. No, if the MP is supposed to...
chicks?
Exactly. If the MP is supposed to associate with people and socialize with people that are going to help him manage his psychological well-being. And that in effect and indirectly affects his performance at work, which makes him more productive by virtue of associating with side chicks, as you call them.
These people already have numerous advantages that the ordinary Ghanaian doesn't have. There are certain allowances that they have, entertainment allowance, they have clothing allowance,
all of us
they have housing allowance,
all of us will
have
MPs.
Fuel allowance, all these allowances that they are enjoying that the ordinary Ghanaian citizen is not enjoying. The ordinary Ghanaian citizen that would have to wake up very early to avoid traffic. Those that vote them into power, someone who have to wake. Imagine somebody staying in Kaswa, works in somewhere Osu, somewhere La Paz. The person would have to wake up very early at 4 a.m., take a trotro, take a whatever the person would want to take and go to work. And the person late in the night would have to go through all the traffic in Adenta, Medina, all the massive traffic.
Malam.
The
Kaswa.
When you come to Kumasi, we have Tafo, those roads with chronom.
Now Kumasi traffic or?
Yeah, massive traffic in Kumasi.
Sorry.
Traffic in Kumasi. Where I stay in Kumasi, where I used to work in Kumasi, massive traffic on those roads.
Wow.
The ordinary citizen would have to wake up early, vote for what are we trying to tell them? So the best thing must be done. For numerous years, some major roads haven't been touched. So they need to be going down and start something.
Okay, fair point. I think I agree with you. Essentially, what we are trying to say is this. We have given these people privileges for them to be able to serve us well without any inconvenience. And with these privileges given them, you've not seen the proportional service they've rendered to us, right? And this does not give us any reason to trust that giving them more privileges will give them more room or will make their work or will make they performing their duties even easier for them to perform. So I think on that score, I don't think I equally agree with this LI to allow MPs. I think people that need this are people who I would say are rendering essential services.
Exactly. People are rendering essential services.
If your medical doctor is going to run surgery at the hospital, I think that person should be protected.
Exactly.
Allow the person to get to the hospital very early.
If there are people that really think about the ordinary Ghanaian citizen, our lives,
they
could have gone. They wouldn't have just included
to themselves. They give it to other, exactly.
Fine, include me. But then look at people in the essential services too. But then it is just them. That is selfish.
I think we should talk about. It would be very good to extend the conversation to talk about something else that's within the transport system. Just this week, news broke that transport fares are going to be increased by 15%.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. Over the years,
fuel prices are rising. And it's common sense or it's logical that if fuel prices rise, you would see a corresponding rise in transport fares. But people are expressing their dissent at that particular position by the transport union in the country. What do you have to say about this?
See, Ghana is one country that sometimes it's so hard to judge how we move. You see, there are times that fuel prices are being increased, and these commuters, these drivers, they end up increasing fares. But there are times there could be a reduction. At no point in time would they reduce it. They are still going to maintain the amounts that they are rendering. I think they wanted to do that a couple of months ago, and the Ministry of Transport released a statement to say that no, they have not given directive for the transport agencies to bring forth an increment in the transport fares. It's very sad. I said in the last podcast that Ghana in several years, election years, the economy could be very bad. Things could be so bad. But in election years, at least we see something. Politicians try to
show that at least
they try
massage something to favor your cause and to secure, political points. This is a good time. I think I agree. This is a very good time for the government in power to actually want to reduce the burden on citizens, just so they are able to sway the minds of citizens that we are actually on the right tangent to the place we ought to be. And signs of this is that transport fares are being reduced, fuel prices are reducing, exchange rate is getting better, and all of that. But we are seeing the opposite. And it tells you that when it's at this level, it tells you that the situation is really, really bad. That we can't even, do things behind the scenes to manage the optics. Like, we can't hide it. Like,
it's so ridiculous because over the years we keep on seeing that in election years things are better, but this time around it's not the case.
Yeah, but for me, I solidarize with the transport union and their association members and all of that, because come on, see, transport fares, right? One time I listened to a church driver talk about the components of transport fare: spare parts, fuel prices, car insurance, and then other their profits, what they will give to their masters, car owners, and all of that. So these people, you may think that, come on, there should be a marginal increase or there should be like a marginal reduction even when fuel prices are reducing. But if only one component is reducing, doesn't warrant that the prices of the fare should reduce, because other components still exist, like spare parts. So it's still high. Exchange rates matters. I don't even know how drivers find a very nice way of including dollar rates in their transport fares and then base that to charge or to justify increasing on fares. But see, the point is this: everybody needs to survive. Everything in the country is increasing. Everything is increasing in the country. The only thing we are seeing stagnant consistently is Akufo-Addo's heights. Nothing has changed about Akufo-Addo is still the way. So I think people are trying to survive. When things are becoming hard, create a corresponding conducive environment for people to equally thrive and even be able to engage or survive in the hardship. But this is the case, we don't see that. So,
yeah, to be fair, I don't sympathize a lot with some of these drivers.
Why?
Yeah, I have a lot of reasons.
Tell me.
But who I sympathize a lot is the ordinary Ghanaian citizen.
Okay. And you think the driver is not an ordinary Ghanaian citizen?
No, I'm talking about the ones who are always in the... See, these drivers do not pay for the spare parts.
Who told you?
They are not the ones paying for spare
parts.
Who
pay for the spare parts?
It is the owners that pay.
Exactly. But they work with their cars and then they pay their owners, or they give what do you call it? They make daily sales to their drivers.
They have an arrangement with their owners. So as to whatever happens in the day, who suffers more are mostly the owners.
No. This is not a general or a universal deal.
What is it?
Some drivers can have arrangements with their car owners that you would take care of the spare parts. You would service the car when the car breaks down. And then you make this amount of sales daily or weekly. Other drivers go into a deal where the car owner absorbs the cost of servicing the car and paying for the spare parts, right? And then make a correspondingly higher daily sales or weekly sales to them. So the idea you want to put on this...
Spare parts are very expensive. Very expensive for the ordinary driver to be able to pay.
If you say they are very expensive, that is why the car is being put to use to make money, make profit.
So what happens is some of it's a daily sales. So you put up the daily sales to the car owner. I'm saying that because I have been in the transport business for some time.
What you car?
I was an owner. I never drove a car, right?
So maybe you went to do a deal with your driver
that is a deal. That is the deal that is mostly done.
No, that's no.
These short drivers.
Let's even granted it's mostly done, right? Even if there are two people, there are two drivers
That would.
in Ghana who do not strike deals like what you did with your drivers, those drivers needs to be sympathized with.
We are looking at the majority in this.
So the minority should fuck
So
themselves up.
What is?
Pardon my French, by the way.
What is the rate? If it is a 5 to an 8 to 2, we are going to look at the majority.
So the two people should die.
Where I
You wouldn't think of a
sympathize
situation where you can optimize systems to get win-win on both ends.
Win-win. Who suffers more? The one that I will sympathize more is those that is the ordinary citizen, the ones that have no control. Because if I'm being told to pay for, I was paying 15 Ghana cedis, and now I'm being told to pay 20 Ghana cedis, and my basic salary is 500 Ghana cedis, and the next month I'm still taking that 500 Ghana cedis. There is no change in my basic salary, and I have no excuse than to be on this bus, than to be on this structure. I have no excuse to be on it.
Notice
Because
that
if I don't go to work, I don't get paid at the end of the
Exactly.
month.
Notice that you who is not getting an increase or a corresponding increase in salary, who still have to take public transport to and fro, getting to work and all of that, right? Take your issue to your paymasters. The public transport operators are persons who also need a corresponding increase in their income.
Fair
so
enough.
they would also increase their fare. Take
So
your matter to
as
your
lo-
paymasters
so
and let them.
as long as there is an increment in the
Yes.
fuel prices,
Yes.
they feel entitled.
Yes,
to
we'll
increase
increase it.
the fares.
Yes.
Right.
If you won't pay work.
So exactly. So these are not people that we sympathize with, because to them, whenever there is an increment in fuel prices, an increment in spare
Spare
parts,
parts.
where they feel obliged that they need to increase.
No,
the fares, they are doing it.
notice that if this argument you are advancing is true and something to go by, fuel price has increased like over the years for more than this year alone, right? I can remember 3 times where fuel price has gone up, right? And I believe it's gone up more than 3 times. For all these 3 occasions, you've not heard any increase in like transport fares. It's only this time around, right? So it tells you that it's not as if anytime there is an increase in fuel price, there's a corresponding increase in transport fare. I mean, these people understand the system, and they some way somehow sympathize with the ordinary Ghanaian who use their services, right? But I'm saying that the ordinary Ghanaian whose salary is not being increased, right, shouldn't subject the transport operator, right, to hardship because their salary is not being increased. Go fight for your salary to be increased and leave.
We are in a country where there is a high rate of unemployment over the few years.
Yes.
How are you going to fight with your paymaster?
Look at this.
You want to lose your job?
Look at this. If there's a high rate of unemployment, right, and people are trying to venture into transport business to create jobs for themselves, and now you are saying that, if you create jobs for yourself in the transport business, sympathize with the ordinary Ghanaian.
So these people are doing it. It's not as if that there is an increment in fuel prices and they've made up their mind they are not going to do it. For them, they are increasing it. Fair enough. That is what they are doing.
It needs to be
but
increased.
the ordinary Ghanaian doesn't have an increment in his basic salary anyway.
If you are working at ministries and you don't have a car and you pick my trotro and you don't increase your salary, doesn't mean I shouldn't increase.
So you are doing it.
Yeah,
they are already doing it.
We are all fighting for ourselves.
They are doing it, right?
Me, I get my car and there's fuel price increment in fuel price, and I'm increasing my transport fare. You are telling me that I shouldn't increase the transport fare because
I'm not telling
you have not got
I'm not telling you to.
So what do you want me to do?
You've increased it.
Yes,
so
I'll increase.
You are. So why should I sympathize with you?
You should sympathize with me.
Why should I sympathize with
in
you?
a sense
because
that
you are balancing it out. You feel that there is an increment in fuel prices, so you've gone ahead to increase the transport fares.
I get what you're
so
trying to say.
You are in a position to balance things out for yourself.
I get what you're trying to say now. Okay, I think it's fair in this kind of system. Everybody is just fighting for themselves. That's all. That's how I see it.
Oh yes,
yes. So nobody is trying to fight for each other. I mean, on that note, let's just talk about this, where you see why sympathizing or solidarizing doesn't really help sometimes. Just recently, the trade minister Katie Hammond, right, was invited by the Chamber of Manufacturers to have some discussion on manufacturing prices and all of the kind of things, right? When he went into the meeting, he saw Association of Cement, I think cement manufacturers. Yeah, right. I think he was supposed to meet with the Chamber of Contractors. I don't know which it is, but he was supposed to meet a particular association.
Yeah, he said he had already met the.
And then when he went in that meeting, he met cement manufacturers in that meeting, and he said that he's not going to sit in the meeting if the cement manufacturers will be in that meeting. But then the leadership of the Chamber of Contractors or Manufacturers, whatever, the leader said that, see, the manufacturers are our partners in this. So even if, they share common goals, common ideals, and common plans, right? So even if you've met them independently, right, we still think that they need to be in this meeting. You see, that is solidarity, that is collaboration. But see the kind of response they got. The minister says that they either walk out of the meeting or he walks out. You see what I'm trying to say? So even in the system that is very bad, that individual associations and individual within the system are trying to collaborate and survive in the system, the leadership of the system doesn't even want to foster this kind of collaborations. You see where I'm coming from? With the idea that, see, the transport owners or the transport operators should press the neck of the ordinary Ghanaian. They should press it. So when they press it, they should also go and press the person up the ladder that pay us, increase our fare, increase our salaries for us to be able to commute.
They should continue pressing. They know
exactly.
As they are pressing, their uncles, their aunties are not always going to take their trotro or their taxis or whatever. They are also going to take somebody's trotro, somebody's taxi, somebody's buses.
Notice that it's a union agreement too. It's not like individual drivers. So if TUC says that we are increasing transport fare, but across board it gets increased.
But one thing is that Ghana is one country that is so funny in the sense that the 15% increment there's not going to be a uniform increment. Some people would find a way. Ghana, these percentages they do not work in Ghana.
This is what I realized, right? They run the maths and then they approximate it. So if 15% of, let's say, 7 cedis probably will be like, maybe if let's say it's going to like 1 cedi something pesos, they will say 20 pesos. Sorry, yes, they will say maybe 2 cedis, or they will say like maybe they'll add, like they have a way of adding a marginal runoff figure
to the some make sense, some doesn't make sense. Yes, some you could see probably. One area, I already take 15 cedis. You already take 15 cedis. You see somebody increasing it to 12 cedis.
No.
Somebody trying
those ones are excesses. Those ones are anomalies.
Trying to do 13 cedis. Yes. Somebody trying to do 12 cedis.
Yes, those ones are anomalies. When those ones happen, we will deal with them individually. But the general consensus is that they should
believe that
some increments.
As going forward, these are some of the things that should be well and truly managed in our country. In Ghana, there is no uniform pricing.
Yeah.
You go to this same shop in the same area, you could see one is selling his for 12, 15
1 cedi is more, 50 pesos more,
and it's very bad. All these things should be managed. And with this increment, I know there is going to be a lot of squabbles, a lot of fighting this structure.
What will actually happen is this. There will going to be like a trickle down effect. If you increase transport fares, cars that go to farms and these villages to go and pick up farm produce or produce for market sales are equally going to increase their transport fares. And then our market women are going to now push that price increase and that cost onto the product they are selling.
So all in
and
all,
then it comes back to us. So they are paying extra.
Exactly. So that's what I'm saying. When all these things happen, I sympathize for the salary earning citizens.
Fair point. I get you.
They are the ones that are going to suffer because right when, like you are saying, if there is an increment in the normal transport fares, a truck driver that picks farm produce from a farm, if he's charging 400 cedis, I'm also going to increase mine to 500 Ghana cedis. Yes. And the market woman is, hey, I go to pick tomatoes, I go to pick pepper, yam from the farm. Now there is an increment in the transport fare. Yeah. If I am selling for 20 cedis, I'm also going to increase it for 25 cities.
Yeah.
So she or he
Yes.
is balancing it out.
Exactly.
But this average earning salary person
Yeah.
who takes 500 Ghana cedis, who take 2,000 Ghana cedis,
Yeah.
who takes 3,000 Ghana cedis, is still going to take that same money.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, it's sad. You know, these things, right, call for national conversation, particularly among the youth, right? But I've observed something. When something very critical like this comes up, that should catch the youth's attention for discussion, and then somebody just throws something into the mix to distract the youth, and then attention is shifted from what is critical. And by the time you realized, they've already passed the thing, and the thing is already in effect, and we've lost track of what we needed to talk about. Like, I mean, when this transport fair came up, conversations came up. I mean, this increment engendered some conversations. When the conversations were heating up, and then somebody just released something inappropriate on the internet, and then, I mean, young boys and honey men need to go and excite their eyes, and then whatever. Guys, it's the politics show on 45 TV with myself, Dry, and Derek here. So far, we've talked about the LI that these MPs want to give them some privileges and convenience on the roads. And we've also discussed the increment in public transport fare by 15% from the transport unions. Don't forget to interact with us in the comment section, hit the notification button, and then put our post on notification. Subscribe to our channel, and then share for other people to also engage with our community. We will react to your comments, and then we always factor them into our next post and all of that. Derek, I want us to shift the conversation into something else, right? Elections. Let's do something direct. Let's do something directly connected to election. Let's start with the EC. I mean, we saw when this election year started, the EC has been showing some minor inconsistencies and discrepancies already with numbers, right? And there's been lots of issues happening, from the missing verification machine issue to they reporting data discrepancies, and now they are saying that there's some missing laptops and missing computers, and the EC chair is saying that it won't affect the election results. Some comments have also been passed that political parties should accept the results or the verdict of the election in good faith. I mean, there are a lot of comments. However, the EC is not really giving us reason to believe that and trust that they're going to do a good job at it. Just this week, the EC chair was interrogated in Parliament. And then I heard a very shocking revelation that the National Communication Director, Anyagba, in 2020, his name was not in the register, but he voted. And when they asked him, it's been 4 years, they are still doing investigation as to why. Let's even say it is one person. It is this Anyagba guy who is the only one in the whole country who voted without his name being in the register. Which is ridiculous to assume, because if one person, it happens to one person, means that elsewhere there could be such incidences. But let's even say it's that one person. How much time do you need to investigate why one person's name is not in the voters register, but the person got to vote? And I want you to just touch on every bit and pieces of what has been happening in the EC in connection to the election, in connection to transparency and accountability and trust in the ability of the EC and the safety of the results, or the integrity of the result that they're going to be declaring.
These, touching on from the last bit that you put up with Anyagba, most elections, in fact, every elections are won at the polling station. That is where elections are being won. Right after counting is being done at the polling station, where the polling agents put pen to paper to sign and verify
pink
the
sheet
results
and
on the
things.
pink sheet, and it moves to the constituency level, then moves to the regional level and to the national level. That is all done. So with these issues pertaining to somebody's name not in the register and the person ends up voting, I think that the polling agents for all those political parties, they should be up and doing, making sure some of these mistakes are not being done. So when these mistakes are being done, they should make sure that they don't put pen to paper to sign some of these results. These would cause a future problem. Well, like what happened in Techiman South after the military men had opened fire and lives were being lost. That as up until now, that case, things haven't been looked out for. So with what you are talking about, the Ahiabas case, even people, when lives were being lost, up until now, the perpetrators...
There's no reports accounting for the loss of lives.
Exactly. People have not been brought to book. So with this Ahiabas case, 4 years, this case has not been looked at. For life gone, that would have been looked at. I'm not sure that
Ahiabas case will look.
Exactly. That's what that would be a case.
You know, the funny thing in the EC chair submission said, okay, they hope that before the 2024 polls, they are able to provide some little update.
See,
to Parliament.
I said in the last podcast that the president has too much power. That is something that over the years, you see, power is sweet. When the constitution was drafted under Chairman Rawlings, then the NPP as a party then refrained themselves in the drafting of the 1992 constitution.
Really?
Yes. And when the constitution was being drafted, Rawlings, being a dictator, he drafted the constitution to favor his rule, his style of being a dictator. And over the years, John Kufuor, Atamos, John Mahama, and Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, they've all come to enjoy the privileges that the
vested into the executive head.
Into the executive head. So none of them would want to take a position to change our constitution. Our constitution needs a massive reform. The power is vested into the president. It's more or less than we are in a dictatorial rule. With these bureaucracies thing lagging us that, we want to fix a road.
Dictatorial democracy.
That is, you see, it's funny. Where there is a need for pressing issues, that is where this issue about democracy comes to fore. But then when they want to steal, when they want to make issues to their own benefit, the dictatorial aspect of the constitution comes into
to
fore
light,
to help them. The president having power to appoint the EC chair.
So how do you think EC chairs should be appointed?
As we all know, the EC is an independent body. So being an independent body,
They themselves should find
a way for getting...
electing-
Exactly. Like these universities are autonomous.
vice chancellors.
The vice chancellors of these universities. These universities are semi-autonomous universities. And their vice chancellors, it is not the president that appoints the vice chancellor. It is the university council that finds a way to appoint their own vice chancellors. The KNUC vice chancellor, the lady, she wanted to secure a second term. The council, they didn't vote her to get a second chance.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she didn't get a chance to become the vice chancellor.
But I think Legons, has got a second chance.
Has gotten a second chance. She couldn't get a chance. So these bodies should... We said they are independent body. It's the same thing with our judicial system. The Attorney General and the Ministry of Justice, that portfolio, that is one thing that should be separated. You should separate the Attorney General from the Ministry of Justice. But we have the Minister of Justice, same as the Attorney General. It is not good. This really, it doesn't help with checks and balances. As long as you have an EC that was appointed by a particular government, there was always going to be an issue of mistrust by one party. So I've listened to the what Jean Mensa said when she faced Parliament. She said that, in fact, what broke my heart was that they got to know the missing laptops when a maintenance was being done. So if not for the maintenance, they wouldn't have realized that laptops were missing.
So nobody actually tracks inventory of logistics within.
So this was being done it was being lost several months and they didn't even get to know that laptops were being missing. It was when they were doing the maintenance, that was when they realized that laptops were missing. And her cases...
I want to pause you on this. This, I've seen this script before. I've seen this script somewhere before. Someone didn't know that money was being missing or money was being depleted from their coffers until a thief was caught in their house. I'm not saying anything. I'm not trying to mention anybody's name. But this script, this line is very, very familiar. Like it rhymes with something in the past. Guy, Charlie, I think you are making a very solid point on this.
It's she said, and I listened to her, she's saying, oh, those machines, those laptops are not going to affect the integrity of our elections because they are not the biometric verification machines.
Exactly. The same I think she passed a similar comment about the biometric verification machines, that okay, those ones don't even have any important information over the information on those verification machines are obsolete and all of that. But I think again, when these little issues come up, they question the integrity of the commission.
That is,
and in extension, questions the integrity of the results declaration. And I keep saying that my boss one time told me this, that when it comes to numbers, once you get it wrong on the first count, on the first attempt, you have already introduced skepticism in the minds of the recipients. So hardly would they buy into what you're reporting to them afterwards, because it's going to be flagged as a damage control or something you're trying to do just to more like cover up. It won't be believed again. With that kind of wholeheartedness that would have been accepted with, should have come correct on the first attempt. So I think the EC needs to do a lot. They need to do a lot of things. Honestly, when it comes to constitutional powers and how it is entrenched towards one arm or one agency and all of that, I think that I don't believe that words, right, can accurately represent and reflect the intention of the framers of the law. Okay, that is why it is subject to interpretation. And I think it's also subject to a certain moral and ethical compass that when you want to perpetuate a corrupt act, you find a way of exploiting lacuna in the law to favor you, to make you feel good in the sight of the law, to perpetuate corruption. But when it comes to things that will benefit you, you then again interpret the law differently to create space for you to be tolerated or for your opinions to be heard. But if it's against you, you find a way to massage or malign things to it's bad. It's just a thing of, I think at some point in time we should ask ourselves, what moral compass or what ethical compass are we using, right? Are we reasoning or are we reasoning the laws with? It needs to be talked about. That kind of thing really needs to talk about, right? I think on that note, let's talk about something else about elections, which has got to do with debates, right? There's been calls for presidential debate. I think it's been a norm for some time until 2016 that didn't happen, and now 2020 didn't happen as well. 2024, if I'm very right, I think the NDC camp has been calling for some debate, right? And then, I mean, they gave the impression that they are open to a debate. Then they went silent on it. Then DMB's camp said, okay, I mean, DMB himself went out there calling for a debate. And just when DMB called for a debate, IEA has already gone out to publish that there's going to be a debate without consulting or confirming with NDC. What do you think, or what do you make of this action by IEA? And let me add another question. Do you think DMB can face Mahama in a debate?
Oh.
Or do you think DMB should be debating or should be working? Which one? What is it?
I think for now, he sees himself more as a candidate now. Because we have just 4 months going to the polls. So
4 months?
I think we are in the month of
July.
We are
August,
just
September, October, November. Yeah.
July is almost gone. We are in the 20th of July. In a couple of days.
Fast though.
Yeah, a couple of days we are entering into August. So
I have to go and
we
go
are
and
just a little over 4 months to enter into the polls. With these IEA, Ghana is one country that we hardly, because over the years, these politicians, they keep on telling us lies. Lies upon lies upon lies. There is a difference between doing what you want to do and the things that you want to say. So
at least, this is why I like debates. At least you are able to display an intellectual acumen, right? That can inspire certain hope and belief that you are capable. That alone is what I'm looking for.
Ghana as a people.
So when you do that, and then you are given the notch, and then the nod to lead, and you don't perform, or your performance doesn't match the things you articulated in the debate, then we can drag you and even drag you better.
These guys come with a manifesto. The things in their manifesto. I remember some years ago, I wrote an article about it was the Sports Act. It's funny. Ghana is a funny country. I remember that Sports Act when the NDC were in power. The then Parliamentary Select Committee on Sports, the MPP representative, that was the then Minister of Sports before the current one. What was his name? I'm forgetting his name. He actually fought against the NDC for not putting in effect the Sports Act.
Yeah.
He came in
and he didn't do
as the Minister of Sports.
He didn't do it.
He inaugurated a board, and throughout his tenure, this board actually put nothing into effect. He that criticized the past government for not putting into effect a Sports Act, he became a Minister of Sports. He inaugurated a committee, and the committee put nothing in effect. So over the years, these political parties, with their manifesto, with the things that they want to do, they end up not even putting into effect some of the things that they want to do. So with these IEA debates...
So you don't think the debate is even relevant?
It's not relevant.
So you don't want a debate at all?
If they are going to do it, fair enough. But then...
But the US, they do debate. I think that the US government, after that debate, they really go ahead to implement things that they discuss at the debate.
See, their system of governance is totally different from our system.
It's still democracy.
It's still democracy.
Yes.
But their system of governance, see, they have an ideological way of following political party.
Yes.
Someone will be a socialist.
Yes.
Someone will be a capitalist. But then the far right, the center right.
Yeah,
but in Ghana, we don't have anything.
No, we have Democrats and we have, Social Democrats, the NDC, and then the
NDC,
intellectuals.
NDC. The funny thing is that NDC as a party who is known for being a socialist party, it is rather the MPP that does much
no. This fallacy will not fly in this room.
It does.
No.
It's the MPP that rather. The NDC doesn't go that line. We talk about that line.
I mean, there's been social intervention initiatives that has been championed by the NDC, right?
I'm not ruling the fact.
Even if it's not. Maybe it may not be direct as you want to reason it.
So but as a socialist,
but the social democracy or social or as a social intervention driven political party, they've actually lived their ideology.
They have, but then the quantum which they do it is not as
compared to
the MPP as a party. What I'm trying to say is that
what yardstick are you using?
That is what I'm trying to say is that the point I'm trying to build here is that these political parties that we see, that then in our minds, this is where they want to go. But then they don't even end up toiling that line. The MPP come in with NDC could debate about the NHI, but then the NHIS being a national thing was under the MPP government.
It was done by the NDC.
That is going to be a selected.
Wait. Let's do this here. Let's do this here. No. Let's do this here. The NDC had piloted the national. I'm coming. The NDC had piloted the now NHIS system, right? When the NDC piloted it, the MPP came and then ran a nationwide.
That is what
I'm coming. Let me land now. Ran a nationwide, a nationwide mutual health insurance. What that means is this. So what the MPP did was this. It was nationwide, but mutual. What it means is that you could only use your national health insurance card within a given geographical area in the country. So let's say if you are in Accra, you could use yours just within, I won't even say Accra, just within a particular district in Accra or a particular assembly or municipality in Accra. If you switch municipalities, it will not recognize you, it won't work. It was the NDC and the Mills that came again and then wrecked the system again because they had the idea from birth. That is fact. Look, I don't know how you want to argue this again.
Look.
So when the NDC came, the NDC then changed the mutual system to a national system where if you have your card in Accra, go to Kumasi, you can still use the card to access
for the purpose of the argument on board, I don't want to go too much into the optics of that. Because when you go too much in the optics of that, it's going to take us a long
No, if it's a lie, just
But
tell
then
me it's a lie. And then let me.
what I am trying to say, and it's good that you actually agreed to what I said, that
What-
the nationwide concept
No.
was bred by the
Don't-
NPP.
don't-
Just
don't
as
ta-
the NDC had a progressive senior high school, but the NPP came and made it a free senior high school that was a nationwide.
See,
thing that
if you
that
have
had no priority.
if you have a project, if you want to run a project, if you want to implement a project, right? Common sense should tell you that, see, pilot it. Every startup does that. Pilot it. Even if you want to go nationwide in a very inclusive
So what
system.
I'm trying to say
Don't
is
go nationwide in a very like gerrymandering thinking. Why would you go nationwide with a mutual system? So if I travel from, let's say you are telling me I should create a transport system where maybe I live in Kumasi, can come and work in Accra. And now we have a national health service program that would, if I register for that in Kumasi and I get to Accra and I'm rushed to the hospital for an emergency, it won't recognize me, it won't be effective. How do you reconcile these two?
You go back and you say it's a piloting thing, right? So if someone talks about but then that also makes sense in the sense that it allows us to live within our means. Especially with the case.
Understand that people can.
I've worked in the hospital for several years. I've worked in the hospital for more than 5 years.
Charlie, so we're working. You do reports. You do what you know do again? You drive short road to before. What?
I've worked in the hospital for over 5 years, and I know how some of these things work. And the minds of the general populace. The populace feel that this is the hospital that when you go to one particular health facility and there are going to be a huge number of people choked one side, and you be in one health facility where the numbers are small. It's the same salary they take. Being working in a government hospital, a district hospital, a regional hospital, a teaching hospital, no matter the level that you work, we all take the same salary. But then the burden is being put on one particular health facility because in the minds of certain people, it's the same with the teaching hospital. Everybody wants to run to Kolebu. Everybody wants to run to Konfanoche.
So the idea was to reduce
burden,
the pressure.
But
But notice that not every hospital across the country isn't equipped at equal standards.
not equipped at equal standard.
So if I need kidney treatment, if I need treatment for a particular disease, I won't probably get it at, let's say, municipal hospital. I need to go to Kolebu.
What you are
If I go to Kolebu and my NHIS can't be recognized and help me
But then-
access healthcare in Kolebu, it's shit.
What are you talking about? The kidney.
That's what your people
anything
did.
pertaining kidney has.
Even
if you go to Kolebu,
don't attack the example. Don't attack the example.
What should I attack?
Attack the principle I'm trying to advance here.
I am
Don't
attacking it in the sense that
Don't attack the example. Attack the principle.
there's this condition that is going to make you leave the district level and go to
Guys,
the regional level.
See,
Even at the
you
regional
just
level.
you go fit just convert this into
Original level,
MPP.
you are going to.
Even a point, guys. So you understand him, guys. So guys, I think we would end this note by this report, right? That is gaining popularity in the media space. That the NDC is in pole position to win the election in 2024. I mean, Fitch has predicted it. Global Info Analytics has predicted it. Why are you smiling? Why is it a lie? Data don't lie. I mean, your government said we are taking decisions based on science and data. Right now, you're lying and living at data. So the data is saying that NDC is winning the election. In fact, data has also said 9 out of 10 Ghanaians believe the country is heading the wrong direction. But my question is this: okay, but in totality, 87% of the population thinks that the country is heading the wrong direction. My question is this: the 13%, who are they? Those who believe otherwise, who are they?
Look,
They are your people, your government people, and the people that are taking the money.
we are in a country of interest. Everybody has a way of surviving. You already rightly speaking. You wouldn't. You see, I always have this conversation with my mom. My mom tells me that
The mom is also an MPP member, right?
wherever she is, no, my mom is not she's not taking any position with respect to MPP.
Kai!
She flows with whatever.
Yeah.
So my mom tells me something that we keep on saying that the economy is bad, but people are still making it. People are buying the cars. People are building the mansions. People are buying the houses.
Who are the people? Other people. Other people are fighting for
Come
that.
on, we see people on the. No, I'm not trying to justify that the economy is good.
A while ago, you said that we are not speaking to the minority. We speak to the majority. If majority of the population or the populace are not able to afford this lifestyle within a very struggling economic condition, then your argument is flawed.
No, you are saying that
For every condition, for every environment, you'd always get, even if it's one person who has to buy a car in a difficult environment, you can argue that for that one person, it doesn't work for him.
You are asking me about the 13%.
Yes.
And I'm trying to explain the
Okay,
13%.
explain.
I'm not saying that things are good.
Okay, explain.
So I'm going back to what my mom always tells me, that progressively, they always say things have been bad. But as things are bad, people are riding in the best of cars. People are building houses. So as there are people suffering,
I'm coming. The youth buy expensive party tickets and show tickets and go, like concert tickets. So you to shock you, like
how things
the
are
country bad, but
there are some people that are enjoying it. So in as much as there are about 80% that are
87% of the population say that
as you are
the
saying,
country's
the 13%, there are still people that are living it. It's a country of where interest, right? People have their own interest. Like we put it, when things are so bad and you have the fuel prices being high, and the transport person said, "Oh, I'm going to increase the amount of money." This person is not going to be so much affected, right? So he is going to a bit relaxed. But then there's average salary working earning person. You know, there was a statistic that was released. This is somewhere last year that the percent less than 80% of the government public sector workers earn less than 3,000 Ghana cedis.
Yeah, it's true.
And less than 3,000 Ghana cedis.
Yes, in an economy where one bottle of kinky is 5 cedis. So work the math.
It's, you see, where
you are buying kinky, right? One kinky, we're not even artificial. One kinky. If you are eating kinky twice in a day, that is 10 cedis, right? 10 by 30 is how much?
10 by 30?
300. So I'm spending 300 cedis on kinky alone. You've not bought water. You've not bought fish. You've not even bought airtime. The transportation fare to and fro work and back to your house. You've not talked about it. The rent you pay, utility bills, and all of that. See, I think Ghanaians are really inventive at surviving. If Ghanaians were living in the jungle, they would because
everybody, Peter, we are robbing Peter to pay Paul.
That is robbing Peter to people. But I think
that is
I went on this.
That
note.
is the way of survival in our country.
I went on this note, right? See, this is what I think. That 13%, right, can be made up of people whom, regardless of their conditions, because they have a very entrenched roots in a particular or association in connection to a particular group, they would always defend that group even to their death. And I've seen videos of people who are living in abject poverty whose close associates have confirmed that even this person, when he woke up this morning, has not eaten. He came to beg me for food. But this person is standing in front of camera saying that the country is good.
Oh yeah, there are.
So, I mean,
that
point is this.
That is the world we find ourselves in.
If more than 2/3 of the population is saying that the country is heading in the wrong direction, I don't see any better way of saying that this government is a failed government.
For in the last couple of years, especially in the second term, yeah.
Even the first term,
no.
it was settings that they used to deceive
the
us.
The first term, it's something that I would argue on every day, every night. But in the second term, especially the last few years, it's been terrible.
We'll come back to this first term.
But the first term was massive. I myself, it was when I got a job to work in the public sector. During the first term,
I mean, you've already admitted you are NDP,
massive people,
NPP members.
But then the second,
I'm not in the first quarter.
I'm not
in the second.
I'm not an MPP card bearing member. I need to state facts.
In the second
I'm not an MPP
in the second term,
member.
I didn't get a chance to go work in the public sector. So you got the chance to go work in the. Who did you know?
I didn't know anybody.
Who linked you?
No, a lot of people, but over a huge chunk of us who completed school.
What
Yeah,
job?
we had our financial clearance to be able to.
What job? What job was that?
I work in the hospital. I work in the lab,
Okay.
medical lab. So a huge chunk of us were given the chance to, you know, work in the public sector, and that was massive because over the years,
You were earning 10,000 cedis at the time.
a month.
Yeah.
Come on, how much does a senior medical officer earn?
Guys, on that note, we bring the show to an end. And again, kindly subscribe to our channel, comment, share your thoughts with us, get interactive with us, and hit the like button. Also hit the notification button to get notified whenever we post a video. Share to your friends.